Welcome to the National Weather Service's Outdoor Event Weather Watcher Training. In this training, we will describe the following topics. What is a Weather Watcher? The Weather Watcher process, and how to use the Weather Watcher checklist in conjunction with the Outdoor Event Weather Watcher briefing page. First, what is a Weather Watcher? Weather is a key component of any outdoor event action plan. A thorough evaluation of weather threats prior to the start of a large event and a continuous monitoring of how potential weather threats are evolving during an event can lead to effective and more confident decisions regarding the safety of event goers. A weather watcher is a person who is designated to evaluate weather forecast information in order to identify potential weather-related hazards that may impact an event. The weather watcher also provides continuous monitoring of weather conditions during an event in order to support the execution of any action plans. This module will outline the functions of the Weather Watcher, a Weather Watcher evaluation and monitoring process that the Weather Watcher can follow, and provide an overview of key forecast and monitoring products and tools a Weather Watcher can use. The Weather Watcher process. An effective Weather Watcher should have internet access, understand any established weather-related thresholds and evacuation or sheltering time, begin monitoring forecast information at least 3 days prior to the event, complete the Weather Watcher checklist, have the ability to maintain a continuous weather watch on event day. It is encouraged that they not be designated for any other responsibilities. Must have direct communication with incident command staff, especially when a threshold is expected to be met. And finally, have access to NWS chat. If you do not have access to NWS chat, you will need to request access at the link shown on the screen several weeks ahead of time. Weather monitoring should begin at least 3 days before the event begins. The Weather Watcher checklist will guide the Weather Watcher through the key forecast and monitoring products available to assess weather threats. It is broken down to 3 sections. First, the assessment section should be followed each day leading up to the event. This will allow the Weather Watcher to gain a big picture understanding of potential weather hazards over the next several days. The Day 1 planning section should be utilized early on the day of the event to assess the latest potential for weather hazards and allow the Weather Watcher to see how the potential has changed over the previous days. Finally, the Day 1 monitoring section lists products and services that should be monitored throughout the day of the event to identify details and assess how threats are evolving. This information will aid in determining when hazards will impact the event.
The Weather Watcher checklist should be used in conjunction with the Outdoor Event Weather Watcher briefing page. Each local National Weather Service forecast office serving Illinois and Indiana has a briefing page. Please follow the link for your respective state to access the local page.
Click the county where the event will be held on the map. This will take you to the Weather Watcher briefing page containing information from the local National Weather Service forecast office serving that county. This website displays all of the products discussed in this training and follows the Weather Watcher checklist for ease of use. It also contains a link to NWS chat, which should be monitored by the Weather Watcher. Be sure to periodically refresh the page to ensure the latest information is displayed. The top of the Outdoor Event Weather Watcher briefing page contains a link to the latest hazardous weather outlook. It is in text format, and clicking on that link will take you to the latest HWO or hazardous weather outlook. The HWO outlines hazardous weather expected over the next 7 days, with a focus on today and tonight. It may be expanded to include additional information about what, when, and where thunderstorms are expected. It is issued by 5 a.m., 12 p.m., and 5 p.m., with additional updates as needed. If storms are expected in the first 24 hours, some offices include the general storm motion of the day in the HWO. Some offices provide an enhanced hazardous weather outlook. Clicking the Enhanced Hazardous Weather Outlook, or EHWO graphic, will bring up the EHWO webpage. The EHWO provides a map-based depiction of expected hazardous weather over the next 7 days. The table below the map defines each of the color-coded risk categories. Please note that the definition will change for each weather element. The EHWO is updated by 5 a.m., 5 p.m., and as needed.
The weather story is an image depicting upcoming weather. Each National Weather Service office now has the ability to post separate graphics addressing different time periods and/or weather threats. Clicking on the image will open up a new page where you will see several tabs, each containing a different image. The number of tabs and associated images will vary by weather situation.
The Storm Prediction Center, or SPC, Severe Weather Outlooks is next. The Severe Weather Outlooks indicate the chance of severe weather occurring within 25 miles of a point. Generally, the lower categories represent areas with the greatest uncertainty and smallest expected coverage of storm reports. Conversely, the higher categories represent the greatest perceived threat, confidence, and coverage. Clicking each image will take you to a larger version in a new browser tab. Next up is the detailed forecast, also known as the point-and-click forecast. Enter the city, state, or zip code of the location you're interested in the box, and you will be able to access the forecast for the 1.5 mile by 1.5 mile square area centered on that point. The detailed forecast page will open in a new browser tab. Temperatures, dew point, and sky cover are shown out to 7 days. Wind speed and direction are shown through the next 3 days. The same product should be referenced early on the day of the event. In addition, if you scroll down the page with the point-and-click forecast, the weather watcher may want to reference the area forecast discussion and hourly weather graph further down that page. The hourly weather graph is an hourly view of all forecast elements. All elements except the amount of precipitation are available in an hourly format out through 7 days. In general, the best way to interpret the graph is to look at the trends over time versus relying on an individual value for each hour. The same information can also be viewed in a table format via the tabular forecast link on the bottom right-hand table. The area forecast discussion, or AFD, is a scientific technical discussion providing the reasons behind forecast decisions. The discussions may also discuss forecaster confidence and may touch on alternative scenarios if forecast confidence is lower than desired. If organized severe weather is possible, the local National Weather Service office may hold a conference call or send out briefing slides via emergency management, providing more information on the hazardous weather potential. As the day of the event unfolds, regular monitoring of weather conditions and forecast products should be performed. Periodically checking the detailed forecast and hourly weather graph can help better assess the timing of threats. Pay special attention to radar and check for graphical nowcasts, which will often provide the best detail on where and when threats are expected. Monitoring NWS chat is also important as forecasters often provide updates on forecast thinking. The Weather Watcher can also ask questions regarding their forecast assessment via NWS chat. The chat room is a venue for reporting non-life-threatening conditions and to ask questions regarding the forecast. It also provides an automated feed of National Weather Service products. Please call the office with any time-critical questions. Here are some links regarding NWS chat. Next on the Outdoor Event Weather Watcher briefing page is the radar section. You can click on any of the radar images to see a bigger image. The next section on the Outdoor Event Weather Watching briefing page is the graphical nowcast. There are graphics that show the timing and intensity of severe weather and may even highlight certain areas where you expect severe weather to form. However, graphical nowcasts are not always in effect. The bottom of the page has a display of current watches and warnings and then a link to NWS chat. Monitor for the issuance of watches, as this is an indicator that severe weather is becoming more likely. If a watch is issued, begin monitoring radar and graphical nowcasts if not already doing so. Warnings issued, which include the event location, likely do not provide enough lead time to be used as a trigger for executing evacuation or sheltering plans. Warnings issued upstream of the area can be useful in helping gauge the movement of storms and help determine when your event may be impacted. The bot function in NWS chat is a good way to access the feed of watches and warnings. Designating a weather watcher who can maintain a weather watch is a key component to any hazardous weather action plan. The checklist and associated products and services outlined in this module will help the weather watcher maintain an effective continuous weather watch.